Hello everybody and welcome to Guy Gardens. My name is Izabela and today I would like to share with you the last pottery bonsai pots and pots in general that I made in my studio, in my kiln, and possibly the last pots ever in this life. I don't know. But I will also share with you why I decided to close this chapter of my life after 34 years and sell my kiln, sell the content of my studio, and move on. And also the lessons that I've learned from doing that. So if that's something that is interesting to you and you would like to hear about, you might enjoy this video. So keep on watching. And here is my last batch of bonsai pots that I made at my home studio. They are fun. They are very fun. Honestly, I thought I will want to sell them, but because now I know that that's it, like my kiln is sold, I'm moving on, I will keep those. Money isn't everything, guys. So yeah, I'll show you them one by one, and one of them sold before I knew that I will want to keep it. So I'm happy for the person who got it, but I'm also happy I'm keeping these two. So let me show you from the smallest. This is the smallest. Coming up close, check out those crackles. Yeah, very nice. Bottom and the inside. A little bit of cracking there, but it's not like, it's like almost like a wrinkle, not even a full crack. Very neat. Now this is the sold one. Check out those textures from up close. I'm gonna go slow. What tree should go in it? What do you think? What kind of trees should go in pots like this? I don't know. And the last one, the biggest one, I love the colors on this. It's a little bit darker, more of the darker colors than the other two. But let's get in a little bit closer there. And here you can see this is speckled clay. So it's got specks of iron. It's not white. It looks kind of whitish, but it's more cream color. This is cool. This is like a landscape. Yeah, it could be really interesting to contemplate a tree with that pot. But again, what tree? I'm thinking perhaps my old gold juniper. Let's take a look at it. Well, that tree is huge compared for this pot. I would have to reduce the root mass quite a bit, but and I don't know, like it feels like it's a little bit too much, too busy. I feel like it would be good with a succulent. Maybe that's what I used, those pots I used for my succulents when I made them first time, the first batch. This is the second and last batch of the pots. But what do you think? Does it fit or not really? I did not like the way this turned out without the glaze. And after glaze firing, I didn't even film it because I thought I'm not going to show this video. It's a disaster. But then I was doing another glaze firing and I thought, what if I put another layer of glaze on this? Just because I had nothing to lose. And sure enough, it was a good idea because check this out. That color and that texture is so delicately there. And also I love the feeling. It's like almost like a glued or varnished surface, but not fully glazed. So yeah, I think it's really good. And I would like to pair it with my juniper or a pine. Not sure which one. I'll show you guys and let me know what you think. But here it is. I'll show you the top of it, and I'll show you the bottom of it. This is the bottom. So you can really appreciate those beautiful crackles there. So this is just one layer of Temuku glaze over already matured glaze-fired pot, so it didn't absorb as it normally would, and that's, I think, why it looks so different than the typical Temuku. But I love that. Do you like it? What would you put in it? This. I think they would fit. I would have to reduce the root mass more gradually. And hopefully it would fit. I think it's a good match. I don't think the pine would go in there because pine is more masculine and the round pot just doesn't feel right. But this with the round canopy, even though junipers feel like more masculine, this chickadee is like making such a rocket there. They still, I feel like because of the shape of the tree, it still would fit in with that pot. But I don't know, what do you guys think? Hey chickadee, where are you? Singing happily. Oh my gosh, yeah, I can see a little bit. You did a whistle too? It's not your whistle. I thought this was a robin's whistle. Very neat. Here's my hexagon, which I didn't show how I was building it, but I did it when Nathan was here during the class, and it was fun to do it. I'll show you a little closer. Love the Temuku glaze on it. A little bit of a rusty orangey reddish color with black and almost like bluish there. And the feet have slip application, and I used the needle to make points. Kind of looks like leaves. That was really fun. This is the inside, and this is the bottom. So yeah, this is my last batch of pots, and I'm really happy with them. And here is a tiny little accent pot that I made with some decoration, branch and flowers, cherry blossoms, if you will. The inside and the outside. I glazed it only here, and everything else is unglazed. And my last little thing I made is that elephant sculpture that I made when I was working with Nathan. I think it's cute, and I'm gonna put it in my jade planting. Here it is in the jade planting, in the jade groove. For me, the elephant is a symbol of awakening of the mind and awakening to a true Buddha nature. And I'm gonna repot this into a new pot I made, but I haven't gotten around to it this year. So I think jades are actually really happy in this planting. So it's almost like they didn't want me to move them, which is fine. Because look at the roots that are starting to, I just noticed like this root. Wow, they normally don't grow big roots. It takes a long time for them to grow roots. So I don't want to disturb them too much. They don't need to be repotted. It's just more aesthetic for me to have them in that crackle pot, but that's okay. They can stay here. I think they're happy. And maybe next year they'll be ready to be repotted, because this year I did a massive trim on them, if you remember, and they're back budding really nicely. They're already growing branches, not just budding. So the branches need to be trimmed again. But yeah, This is it, the little elephant.
This is the end, my only friend, the end of our elaborate plans, the end of everything that stands, the end, no safety or surprise, the end, I'll never look into your eyes
Okay, so
again.
here is the story of how I decided to sell and why, and how I'm feeling about this. For those of you who've been here with me, you know that I've been doing pottery since I was 15 years old. I went to a high school in Poland and became a professional potter by trade after 5 years of studying clay and ceramics and sculpture, garden sculpture. And I've been doing clay on and off for about 34 years, but lately it hasn't been really bringing me a lot of joy. And I haven't, it's not that it didn't bring me joy, because once I did it, I enjoyed it, but it was really hard to get to do it. I did not have energy to do it. And I kept thinking, maybe I will have energy, maybe I will inspire myself. I wanted to do YouTube videos because I know people enjoy it, so I would do a project for a YouTube video. But I also did a lot of volunteering when I let people explore clay for free. And then I took on to myself to glaze their pieces. And that was a big mistake. Because it's a lot of work and people don't really realize how valuable it is. I did not feel appreciated. I did not feel that this was valued enough. And eventually, resentment built in my heart. And I'm not blaming anyone, because I know that's just something that I continuously kept doing. I kept offering it for either free or very low price to take classes with me. And I felt like people didn't appreciate it, but it was because I probably wasn't appreciating it. And it's been about 2 years, so I tried to, re-inspire myself. I renovated my studio. I asked my friend actually painted the studio for me. I put the new calligraphy piece, like I did a lot of things to kind of make it beautiful and welcoming space, but I still wasn't going to the studio to do clay, and I still wasn't interested in it. And the doing itself was okay, but I think the hardest pieces for me is always the glazing, the firing, the loading of the kiln, the carrying, the physical carrying of the vessels, which are very heavy, the shelves, and then, the glazing, which takes days and days. So this this kind of feeling of dissatisfaction kept growing. And eventually I said to myself, that's it. I'm done. I know I don't want to do anymore. So my last batch, after I taught Nathan, I kind of felt like I passed the baton and now he can do the pods. And we actually made an agreement that Nathan's going to purchase my kiln, which makes it so much easier knowing that it's going to Nathan. Like, I'm so happy for you, Nathan, starting your new studio. I think you're gonna do fantastic. And Nathan's also gonna take my glazes so I can teach him how to apply them, via email and stuff. And I'm really excited for him. So I feel like it's not wasted. But at the same time, I still feel, have I made the right decision? Why would I walk away from something after 30 some years when I know a lot of you say, oh, you're so good at it, you could do it. Yes, but I don't enjoy it anymore. That's one thing. But another thing that came to me is that, it wasn't even about the pottery. The lesson for me that I needed to learn was to give freely, to give myself freely to people out of the need to help others, to inspire others, to gift others with my art or whatever it is, but not wanting recognition, not wanting, money for it, or some sort of admiration, because that poisons the whole experience. Um, and I realize that now, but it's still, I still feel like, no matter what it is that I'm going to be doing, this lesson kept coming to me in many other areas of my life. So I would start something and then people would not appreciate it, or like there was zero interest. And it's almost like the universe is saying to me, hey, are you ready to do what you really want to do, to share your heart's energy, your creative energy, without the expectation and people's admiration? Because if you're not, you better not do it, because it's only going to give you more resentment and more of that, like really negative feelings. So I finally got to see it for what it was. It's just me creating. I was me creating this pattern over and over, so I can finally see and free myself from that burden of wanting something in exchange for giving. Because I think when giving is conditioned, then it's no longer pure and innocent and beautiful, and it's just not aligned for me, and it's only gonna cause more suffering. So here's my lesson, and I wonder if you've experienced something similar. I know it's almost like so obvious that I'm like, it took me a while to see it. Of course, I saw it, but like after it was hitting me in the face with new experiences in life like that, to the point where like I would do something for the person I love so much, and they would just downward tell me they hate it. And I had to then find it within myself of like, I still love you. I still want to do stuff for you. That wasn't until then when I realized what was happening to me. And I'm really grateful for that lesson, and also excited for the new chapter in my life. I'm not sure about the channel, what it's going to be, but I'm going to share my creative side on here. Um, Maybe one day I will do pottery again, but until then, this is it. And the beauty of that ending is that I can actually now say goodbye and not feel like it was taken from me, but see what the pottery gave me through all those years of my life. Actually, I was going to say all those lives. Well, that's probably true, many lives. But in this life, I got to experience working with clay, learning from clay, teaching clay, and then showing myself here on YouTube, which was huge, sharing with such a big audience. So I am so grateful to clay, but everything passes and ends, and my body, my energy doesn't want to do it anymore. I respect that, and I trust that something new will come when the time is right. So I just gotta say, thank you, Pottery. Throughout my life, you have been teaching me, but this last lesson, this last lesson is the lesson that was the most important for me to learn. And I'm so grateful that you helped me. You helped me realize this truth. You know how they say, don't be sad it ended, be happy that it happened. That's how I feel about it. The sadness isn't from the fact that it ended, it's from the gratitude of being so blessed to be able to experience those lessons in this life. Profound.